what comes to your mind when you think of the biggest myths in sports betting?
Well, the first one is, the house always wins. It's kind of true, but also not true at all. Kind of what you were saying with Vegas knows. The house definitely has an edge. They take a rake, the VIG, and the odds are in their favor by default. But if you're sharp enough to identify real edges and manage your bankroll, and just be disciplined when it comes to that, you could absolutely win over the long run. Unlike casino games like blackjack, unless you're counting cards, or slots, those are fixed odds. The house is going to win in the long run. You might have some days or weekends where you're up big on slots, but in the long run, you're going to lose. That's not how sports betting is. Sports betting, you're betting against the market itself. You're betting against other sports bettors who are, too passionate. They get, fixed up in narratives, things like that, where you could beat them over the long run. So the sports books themselves, they're making money off just people, putting action on both sides and taking a cut of that. But as an individual, it doesn't guarantee that you're going to lose in the long run. It's hard to do. You got to be, again, like I said, good at it. But the house doesn't always win. There are people that win in the long run. And on the flip side, there's also people that get into sports betting that just think it's easy because they know ball, they know that league or they know that team, where you'll just beat the books in the market. But the reality is, even if you're sharp, you need to have solid bankroll management. I already said why that is. And you're going to have losing stretches. No matter how good you are, you're going to have losing stretches. And being able to kind of power through that, trusting your process and trusting your bankroll management is critical. And not a lot of people have that, even if they are kind of so-and-so sharp in that league. So, yes, you can beat the house, but no, it isn't easy.
Yeah, I think that's always the one that comes to mind first is Vegas knows. No, if Vegas knew, the lines would never move.
Ooh, yeah.
Because Vegas would know. Why would they drop a different line? And then everyone, and then the other myth is like the lines are only reflective of the money and balancing. Not necessarily. A lot of times you find, and you can do this by just checking the action app and the money percentages and the bet percentages, but books will often take stands on one side of a line. If anything, they're trying to be on the side of the winning side, but remember, they have a 10% at least kind of, wiggle room to play with. So they can kind of take a side and still, aim to collect, a little more on the what they think is going to be that losing side. And at worst, that 10% takes care of that, so they have this kind of margin for error to play with. You got to remember that. So it's not just like, oh, it's only based on balancing money 50-50. No, that's not how it is. It's a mix of what they think the true line is, but also how they think bettors will bet and how they think early bettors will bet versus the public. Because a lot of times, like if you look at NFL bets in our app or NFL games in our app, a lot of times you'll see sharp action like the Sunday afternoon before the next week, because sharps are getting their bets in immediately, and the books kind of know that. Like they're like, all right, we're gonna have to put out this number. The sharps are probably gonna hit it, and then we could, like, once we take X amount of this big money that we know, like there's only so much more money that's gonna come in, and then we'll adjust it again, based on number one, where those sharps bet, and number two, where we think the rest of the market's gonna be at. So a lot goes into the line. It's not that simple. Like you don't need to be taking, like, there's nothing wrong with unders. There's nothing wrong with underdogs. Their parlays are not plus EV, generally speaking. I think the best use of parlays is like supplemental. Like if you want to get your bankroll started and you have like a low amount to work with, yeah, sure. Throw $5 parlays at the wall, because it probably still is the quickest way for you to build a big bankroll rather than going in $5 increments with straight bets. But beyond that, yeah, like it's kind of like a DFS tournament if you're playing cash games. It's like it's supplemental. You can kind of allocate toward it, but it's not plus EV. It's a lot harder to get an edge with those. So those are kind of things I think about. But there's definitely, as far as we know, nothing rigged. That doesn't mean that different officials and umpires and whoever don't have different tendencies and things like that. So those are something to watch, but it doesn't mean it's rigged or anything like that. Because like every time people say bets are rigged, I'm like, yo, this makes no sense because people bet both sides of the thing. You're
Right.
like you know, there's
Well,
plenty
if you
of
thought it was
people
rigged-
that are betting on SGA to shoot free throws.
Yeah, and if
every
you,
game.
if you thought it was rigged, bet the side that you think is rigged. Like if you knew beforehand, people always wait until after the thing. to say
Right,
it was
right.
rigged. It's like, no, if you
Called
really
regret.
believe that, then you should know what it would be rigged for. Stupid.
Woo!